Yo, what's the dealio in the nation? Well, the dealio seems to be Matthew Stafford at 37 years old for $50 million. Also, top of the news, there are rumors that Cam Ward could be the Raiders guy, and they could be possibly trading up to number one. We'll break it down, talk about that. Also, Shedeur Sanders and a couple more players will not be throwing at the combine. Can you hear me? I don't know if my mic's working. What's good? What's good? Tatted Raider Ed. Do I have vocals? Can you hear me? Let me know. Let me know. Thumbs up. Can you see me? Can you hear me? All right, cool. Just wanted to make sure. So, what's good? What's good? What's good with you? Appreciate you pulling up. I gotta put on glasses to read because I cannot see, bro. Um, I can hear you, see you're doing well. Just making sure my microphone was on. I don't know where everybody's at tonight, but probably because I ain't been on. So yeah, Shedeur Sanders, man, not throwing at the combine. What's going on behind me? Um, Ashton Genty will not be running at the combine. Also, Abdul Carter will not be at the combine. All these guys will be performing, of course, at their pro days at their schools. Shedeur Sanders with his receivers, absolutely wild. But Jaden Daniels did the same thing last year, just throwing at his pro day with his guys. But for Shedeur, I think it's absolutely wild for a bunch of reasons. But the main reason is, you know, Deion Sanders comes out and says Shedeur is the most competitive quarterback. He loves football more than anything. He just wants to compete. Well, what better opportunity do you have to compete than to go prove that you're number one at the combine? I mean, we know he's not the fastest guy, so you don't have to run 40 times or nothing like that. But I mean, people want to see it, right? It's entertainment. That's why people tune into the combine. And for guys, Ashton Genty, I mean, come on, you're by far the number one running back. I could see it, but still, people want to see perform. They want to see what you got, especially when it comes to running back and 40 times. That's always a big thing, and receivers. Um, and I guess if you want to look at it, edge, you know, we want to see what they can do. But for guys to, you know, for Shedeur, I think it's just wild that you talk about being the best. You say you're going to go number one. We've seen all the arguments with him and Cam Ward going on. But for all that to happen, hold on, give me a second. My ball's over there if you want to use it. But, for all that to happen, you get a chance to come out and prove. And I know you could say, your film, you know, your resume's on the grass, as Antonio Pierce would have put his, my resume's on the grass. I understand all that. It's all on film. You can go watch plenty of film. But what's it gonna hurt? I mean, it's not like you're getting tackled. There's not a huge chance of getting hurt unless you throw your arm out, which would be wild at the combine. But other than that, you have a chance to go out and compete. It's all about competing, right? You say you're the biggest competitor, or your father says, you're one of the biggest competitors. You love ball. It's all about ball. And it's all about competing. And then you have a chance to compete on one of the biggest stage, and it's not really competing, but go out there and show your arm strength, show your timing, show all that shit that people say you lack, or why people say you shouldn't be the number one pick. You have a chance to go out and change people's minds, and maybe he feels he doesn't have to, which I mean, I guess I can understand that kind of, but I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to not throw at the combine and to only throw at your pro days. I mean, especially we know what you can do with the Colorado receivers, right? We know you can throw it to Travis Hunter. We know you can throw it to those other guys. We know you have timing with those guys, but at the combine, it's different, right? You get a number, I believe, or a letter or whatever it is, and they call the guy up, and the guy comes up, and you don't really have chemistry or timing except for maybe a couple workouts you get with them here and there. But other than that, to me that shows something, right? You're not just throwing to guys, So, I mean, I don't know. Not too many people in here, so I would ask how y'all feel. But Taddy Raiderette, what's good? What's good? Melissa Porter, appreciate you. Top prospects don't worry about the combine anymore. They focus on the pro day. Ashton Genty isn't particular in any drills either. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I understand that completely. They all focus on, you know, the physical or the whatever you want to say, the doctor side of it. And then, of course, the meetings. Everybody wants to get to know these guys, want to know their intelligence, know their personality, know where they fit in, know where they love ball. I get all that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. If you say you're the number one competitor, to me, I mean, even now, like if I had a chance to compete at anything, somebody says, "Hey, you want to go shoot hoops or shit?" I'll be 50 and damn, I shouldn't even said that, but in 2 weeks or somewhere around there, I don't even know when, but still at this day, I would compete in anything. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't understand why. But you know, Abdul Carter. I mean, yeah, he's one of the top prospects. There's not really, everybody says he's gonna be number one. For the quarterbacks, some people are saying, this guy don't even belong in the first round. Some are saying, late in the first round, which I know it's all a bunch of hoopla and a bunch of talk and a bunch of hearsay. And it's combine time. Everybody's, trying to get people to shy away from the guys they really want, or think they're focusing on one guy and focusing on another. But I understand how that all goes. So try to rate it. What do you got to say? I gotta keep putting these back on while I'm taking them off. um Shared your life, appreciate it. um I have a question, Rebel. Is Derek Carr actually coming back? Because I heard that. I don't know about it actually. I mean, of course, there's talk about it. There's always going to be talk about Derek Carr with the Las Vegas Raiders, with the Oakland Raiders. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. If you want my opinion on it, I don't know if I want to say, but um, there's a possibility. I mean, if you look at the numbers, and I don't have them in front of me, but I do believe Aaron Rodgers was somewhere around 26 touchdowns with 8 interceptions, or 20, I believe 20 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. Matthew Stafford, I think, was the exact same number, 20 touchdowns, maybe a little bit higher. I think he had 20 touchdowns with 11 interceptions. And Derek Carr, I think, was just off the top of my head. Somebody correct me in the chat. I believe Derek Carr was 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, but he only played in 10 games. So, you know, people say Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't a top 15 quarterback, top 10 quarterback, whatever. Say what you want about Derek Carr. His numbers speak for himself. And you can go look at his stats in his career. He's had almost, I think, every year except for one or two over 3,000 yards passing. A way better touchdown to interception ratio, a damn good completion percentage. So, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it at all if the price is right. If if New Orleans decides to let him go or trade him, I mean, I don't know how that's going to work, but he's still on under contract as far as I know. So, I mean, I don't know. Would I rather a Derek Carr over a Aaron Rodgers? Yes, and I'm gonna say that, but there's a reason. Derek Carr's a Raider, bro. Like he's he's been a Raider. He's once a Raider, always a Raider. He's gonna retire a Raider. So, I mean, absolutely 100%. I would take Derek Carr over, yes, over a Matthew Stafford. I'm gonna say that too because even with the weapons Matthew Stafford had, Puka Nacua, a damn good running game, um, a monster defense that was pretty damn solid with Jared Verse at the linebacker position. So I don't know. I'm not paying Matthew Stafford $50 million and trading a first round pick. That's a no. Um, Trading a second round pick and a third round pick is probably too much for me. I would trade the Devontae third round pick if he would come down on that salary. I mean, but he deserves and thinks he deserves to be one of the top paid quarterbacks, and I believe he does. I mean, come on, the man's rap was good. You know, Matthew Stafford's been in the league for probably a lot longer than some of these people been alive. Like it's crazy wild. So does he deserve it when you have when you have Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, when you have Jordan Love making what he's making, what 40 something mil, 50 mil a year? Who else? You have Trevor Lawrence making ridiculous money. Does he deserve it? Yeah. Is he going anywhere? I don't know. I think Matthew Stafford, they want to test the market, see what he's worth, let him go out there, see what he can get, and come back with a number and, see if they're willing to match that. I think that's the whole deal with Matthew Stafford. I think it's a bunch of smoke. I don't think it's going to happen. Would I go that route? No. like I said, the money is ridiculous, and I'm not trading a second round this year when we have as many holes as we have on the Raiders. We did damn good with the second round pick last year and getting JPJ. And I would much rather have a player like a JPJ than a 37-year-old Matthew Stafford that, the Raiders keep trying to, or Raiders fans, it's not the Raiders. I guess the Raiders organization have too, is keep trying to catch lightning in a bottle, right? Um, it worked out with, it worked out with Jim Plunkett. It worked out, two Super Bowls, right? It worked out with Rich Gannon. We won the AFC West, 2-3 years in a row. We made it to a Super Bowl. We got mud stomped, but we still made it. So, you know, but then you go back and look at I don't even want to say some of the names, but where we get Dante Culpepper at the end of his career. Jeff Hostetler, I guess, wasn't too bad. But Jay Schrader, the uh, Carson Palmer. I mean, the list goes on and on. Some of them did decent for the Raiders. Yes, I understand, and some of them were way overpaid for what we got out of them. I'm not willing to go that route. I'm not willing to go after a Sam Darnold. I'm not willing to pay him $45 million or $40 million or even 30 for that matter for having one good year when the rest of his career was, I mean, up and down, up and down. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. But you can't sit there and say, he was even a mid quarterback on the other teams he played for. So he goes to a damn good system with the arguably the best receiver in the entire NFL and a pretty damn good number two receiver, a damn good tight end, a running game, and a pretty solid defense with a damn good head coach and a good quarterback coach. But you also have to look at teams like the Broncos, and they traded for Russell Wilson, 270 something $1 million, whatever it was, and whatever crazy picks they traded for Russell Wilson. What did that get him? It got him releasing Russell Wilson and paying his salary for a year to the Steelers. Now the Steelers go after him. He did all right, right? But they fell apart towards the end of the season. Now I don't know if it's because of age. I don't know if it's because the team wasn't healthy. I don't know what the deal was there, but it didn't work out very good. You go and look at Atlanta, and they pay 140 something $million for Kirk Cousins, who comes in and wasn't worth 140 $million. And and the fan base just wants to continue to say, because he's out there. Furpo, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you pulling up. Um, the fan base just wants to sit here, and this content creators want to just sit here and push these narratives of why these guys are a perfect fit, why it's win now, when you can go back and look. And I hate to keep saying this, but if you throw Aiden O'Connell 17 games, or even the 20 games he's played in, his numbers are exactly the same as Aaron Rodgers this year, as um as Matthew Stafford this year. Like, it was what, 20 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, 12 interceptions. I don't know what it is, crazy, but it's really not that much difference. The difference is those teams had franchises built around him. Matthew Stafford has been there for the Rams, since he won a Super Bowl. That team is continuously built around Matthew Stafford. Aaron Rodgers comes over to the Jets, some ridiculous amount of money, and totally shits the bed, in my opinion, for the season he had with one of the best receivers in the league, and then gets Devontae Adams, his buddy, his guy that's, supposed to come over and be the savior because they're supposed to have this connection, but they ain't played together in 10 years, and that doesn't work out. And the fan base just wants to continue to say, oh, this is what we need, and this is no, 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 it's not what we need. What we need is two guards, a running game, a receiver, and a couple of pieces on defense, and some depth pieces, and re-sign the guys that have been here, that know the system on defense. Don't try to bring in new guys trying to learn a new system, and rock with what we got, bro. I just don't. I don't know. I'm gonna get into these comments real quick because I'm just gonna ramble away. Raph, what's good in the building? Hit those like buttons, y'all. Comment, God, appreciate you. Yeah, hit them likes. I appreciate Raiders. What's good? What's good? Um, Super chat. What's good? Appreciate you, man. You didn't have to do that, but much love. You're not gonna you're not gonna say nothing. What's good? All right. Well, um, crazy wild, but I appreciate you. And I don't know why it doesn't come on my screen with the soup. I don't know what's going on, bro. Hold on, because it's just on my screen. It's just a regular. It just says 4.99. That's, I mean, that's crazy. But like I said, I appreciate you absolutely 100%. We crap in the building. What's good? What's good? Super sticker. Hey, I appreciate you showing love to the channel, trying to keep the lights on. As you can see, they're having problems behind me. So, I appreciate it. I don't know. I was fucking rambling. What do y'all think? Let me know. 7 people in here. Where's the other commenters? What do y'all think we should do? Should we go after Sam Darnold? Do you think we should pay him the money? Do you think you know, another stat I want to throw out there with Aiden O'Connell that I seen that popped up is Aiden O'Connell, who I call the cerebral assassin and will continue to until he proves me otherwise. Um 6-1. That's right. 6 victories, 1 loss when the Raiders rush for over 100 yards when he's a starter. Also, it should be 7-0 if they only had not fumbled the snap this year against the Kansas City Chiefs. And Amir Abdullah's best games was, of course, with Aiden O'Connell under center. So just another AOC stat I thought I'd throw out there. You've even seen Kidnapping with Woody Harrelson. Yeah, yes, I have. You tell me that's what I look like right now. The old Amish dude. That's what I was going for. I was trying to look Amish. I was thinking about getting a buggy and a horse, um, strapping a little trailer to it, pull my tools behind it. The same. Makes sense, bro. Save on gas. Man, it's wintertime. It gets cold. You gotta keep the facial hair warm. It's cold outside, so what? Y'all ain't seen nobody driving around, bro. Hey, you ain't never been up to Missouri. Like, I take you to a place right now that's like probably 45 minutes to an hour from here, where if you drive down the road, sometime, a lot of times, you will be stuck behind some Amish people with two horses in a buggy. I ain't playing. They still do that shit to this day. They are on there. When I lived in Missouri, when I had to work over there, sometimes in the morning, man, I get stuck behind them, and of course, they do not go very fast. Yes, they have 2 horsepower, but they ain't trying to run or go nothing. So, bro, I ain't playing, and you cannot get around them because if you do, bro, they like try to swerve and try to block you. Like they're mad that you're trying to pass them. It's wild. I'm not kidding, but thanks for the compliment. It's that Russian Jewish blood in me. I guess I don't know. For real, I'm telling you. So people in California, and all y'all in the big city ain't never seen no shit like that. But me personally, coming from California and Las Vegas to Arkansas, ain't never seen no shit like that in Arkansas. But like I said, you just go over the border to Missouri, and yep, there's a. Actually, I went to a barbecue out there one time. I was invited to because my ex girlfriend's parents somehow knew him. I don't know how, but they built part of their house and garage. So, anyways, there's like a hole, and there's like I don't know, like probably 30 or 40 that live on like their whole little combine thing. But I don't know how we started talking about Amish. Back to the Raiders. uh, I've seen some man crazy shit. Isn't the word for it in my lifetime at all, at all. But yeah, back to these Raiders. So, what do y'all think about Shedeur not throwing at the combine? And now I think Cam Ward also is doing the same thing. He's not going to throw at the combine. You know, I understand y'all think you guys are 1 and 2, but there's some guys in this draft that I said, shit, I don't even know how months ago. I can't even count right now. But back in September, October last year, maybe even August last year. I don't even know when it was. I'll have to go back and watch some film of some old videos of mine, but it doesn't matter. But I said then there was not only 2 quarterbacks in this race. Jackson Dart would be up there, and this man, he's done all the right things, right? He won, showed out in his bowl game, got his name in there. Then he comes out at the Senior Bowl, does all the right things, plays his ass off, and all of a sudden the guy's moving up draft boards. He was talk of being, third, fourth round, then the second round. Now there's some people saying he might go in the first round, not only in the later rounds to, some of these teams that might take a chance on him, but they're talking in the top 10. So, I mean, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about my man Jackson Dart going in the top 10. I still have faith in my guy Riley Leonard. and I've said it a million times, never been a Notre Dame fan. Um, just something about this kid, and I get those gut feelings about people, and usually they work out. Dylan Labe last year, so far, I'm not going to say whether he has or not. One touch, one fumble is not how you can, evaluate a guy. So, well, to be determined on the Dylan Labe thing, but so far many have worked out, and I don't know what it is about Riley Leonard, but I think this kid's gonna shine in the combine. And I thought he did a damn good job in the Senior Bowl and in the national championship, but I guess it wasn't good enough for his name to be climbing up the board. Tyler Shuck is another guy to watch out for. You know, played his ass off in the Senior Bowl, but Kyle McCord, man, Kyle McCord is sneaky, sneaky, sneaky good. Not only did he what the ACC record for passing yards and all that with Deshaun Watson and uh shit, I can't remember the other guy. Um anyways, two top quarterbacks in the NFL. The man just shattered their record, switches from Ohio State, goes to a team like Syracuse, who was, dead in the water, been trying to come out the mud for a while now, and wins 10 games with a team that nobody thought Syracuse was going to win 10 games. So, damn, I don't know if y'all can see that shit behind me going crazy, but that light is wild, dude. What the fuck? Is it on my camera? I don't know. But what? What are you talking about? What? I'm from California and I've seen Amish. I thought they had funny age haircuts. My dad told me they're Amish. Yeah, yeah, Pennsylvania, like somebody has said in the chat, they're all around. So, I've been to shit, I don't know, like 20, 30, 20 something states. And that was the first time I ever seen him was in Missouri. And, of course on TV, the MTV show, you should change your name to Amish Raiders. Why would I do that? Now you getting wild. I just seen the quality and less quarterback. Of course, the year we won a quarterback, I think the quarterback. I don't know why I ain't putting this up there so everybody can read it. Um, I think all the quarterbacks should have to throw. All of them seem like projects. I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. Especially when the months ago, and not even months ago, just 1 month ago, you could say, just 1 month ago, there was still talks of there only being two quarterbacks in this entire draft, and it was Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. And now, you know, there's a lot more talks of Kyle McCord, Will Howard. Like I said, Riley Leonard hasn't got there yet, but I still have faith that name's going to climb up the boards. They still got him projected in the fourth round, and if Riley Leonard is there in the third round, and we have two third round picks, and we don't, throw one away, or if we trade back, which I think we're going to try to do to the Dallas Cowboys, or to somebody that wants to move up and take that sixth spot, if quarterback isn't there, or we don't, do some crazy shit and move up for Cam Ward. We'll talk about that more here in a second. But I mean, I just I don't know. I still would trade back, but when it comes to throwing in the combine, I just don't see why you wouldn't. I don't see why you wouldn't. Last year I could understand Caleb Williams. He already knew he was going to be a Chicago Bear. He knew he was going to be a Chicago Bear. Um, I'm sure before he got out of USC, the talk was he was a lock, and you know, um, pretty much godfathered in. They weren't moving off that pick. They weren't trading that pick. You could have offered them 5 first rounds, and they still weren't trading that pick. They were dead set on Caleb Williams. That was their number one. Same thing with Jaden Daniels. It wasn't that early, but around the combine time, people, Washington was like, this is our guy. We are not moving on, especially after they got Cliff Kingsbury. They weren't moving on. Those were two guys that were locks to be 1 and 2. There's no lock to be 1 and 2 this year. There's no lock. The biggest lock to be 1 and 2 would be Abdul Carter and Travis, and Travis Hunter, in my opinion. But why weren't there's also talks, or somebody mentioned today that I seen the scenario that what if Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, and Shedeur Sanders are sitting there at number 6? We don't know how this draft is going to be. We don't know, you know, how free agency is going to be. Maybe the Jets go get their guy in, the Giants go get their guy in free agency. Maybe Jacksonville decides that Trevor Lawrence is that guy. They're not worried about it. Um, Cleveland, maybe they don't worry about it. Maybe they re-sign Jameis Winston, who threw for 5,000 yards this year. I mean, 30 something touchdowns and 30 something interceptions. Yeah, you can't throw for 30 interceptions in a season. That's absolutely wild. But man, if you can get the right quarterback coach and the right coach and the right system to tone down Jameis Winston's interceptions, and have a run game behind him with the defense, you know, Cleveland's defense was off and on. It wasn't great like everybody thought it was going to be. But Jameis Winston makes sense. I mean, he makes a lot of sense to me for a cheap guy to even bring in for the Raiders. I mean, he's mobile. He can throw the ball. He can compete. If he wins, he wins. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's on the cheap. But if you go pay a guy $45 million like a Sam Darnold, or $50 million for a Matthew Stafford, and they turn out to be what Kirk Cousins was last year. I mean, come on. Matthew Stafford's been with the Rams for what, 4 years now? He's won a Super Bowl. He's in a Sean McVay, the quarterback whisperer, I call him, system. Um, he knows all the players there. They started out 1-4, right? They had a rough season. They ended up, I think, winning their division and making the playoffs. Why would you blow that up to take a chance on bringing in, of course, all the talk is why they would blow it up is bringing in Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Let me know what y'all think about that. If you was the Rams, would you get rid of Matthew Stafford for only a second round pick if you could bring in Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams to the Rams for a couple years? Because right now, that's the big talk. That's what everybody's saying. We all know Devontae Adams wants to stay, on the West Coast, closer to his family. What better place than LA? Warm weather. Kids could be outside playing. They don't have to be trapped indoors when there's snow, outside for young kids where he wanted to be in the first place. Another scenario. So, like I said, free agency this year is going to determine, I think, a lot more of the draft than it usually does. Because maybe the Titans go move on from Will Levis, and maybe they go get one of these, guys in free agency, like a Aaron Rodgers, like a Justin Fields, like a Russell Wilson. Which I don't know if somebody's seen the latest poll that they did, where all the quarterbacks way too early quarterback prediction. I thought was absolutely wild. Russell Wilson was not even on there as a starting quarterback in the NFL. What I thought was even crazier was Aiden O'Connell was not on. No, I'm just kidding. I had to throw that up there. The menace in the building. What's good? What's good? Um, but yeah, man, that's how I feel about that. I don't think we need, if we're gonna bring in a pocket passer, right? Now I can get the whole experience thing, but is experience worth the difference of $45 million compared to $1.4 million? I believe Aiden O'Connell's getting paid. I mean, if you bring in a veteran running back, take a top running back because we need a top running back. I don't care if it's the first round, moving up in the first round. I mean, okay, I do care if I wouldn't really take one of these running backs in the first round. That's just me. There's just too many. Second, third round, definitely. If you don't get one by the third round with our early pick, all the top 10 running backs, good running backs, are going to be off the board, in my opinion. But that's our biggest need right now. Everybody swears up and down, we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. But we have a quarterback that, if you average out his 17 starts, like I said, is almost 4,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, um, 20 touchdowns and 11 interceptions with the 85.1 QBR and a 62.6 completion ratio. I mean, that's not bad, right? It's it's better than what Jalen Hurts did this year, and they won the Super Bowl. Now, granted, he did run for 500, 600 yards, something like that. Um, be right back. All right, appreciate you. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're going pocket passer, which I don't know what the system is they're going to run, and maybe Chip Kelly doesn't know what the system is they're going to run at the moment. Even he said in his press conference, he's going to build his system around the team and what they got, who they bring in, and what the finished product is, which we don't know what that is. But in my opinion, I mean, if you're going, I don't think experience is worth all that. I don't think we have enough to win now. I mean, maybe possibly, but our division is stacked, bro. Our division is stacked. They're just going to get better. The salary cap went up for all of them as well as us. It's not just us. Everybody got the 20 something so far $1 million added to their shit, right? So all these teams are going to get better. They have more money to spend in free agency. They all have draft picks like we do. The draft is stacked with defensive tackles, interior defensive linemen. It's stacked with running backs. So a lot of these teams are going to get better, even in our division. So is it? Can we win now this year? I don't know. It's going to take a lot. Now, I've talked about it, and I talked about it, and I've talked about it. I said before, like, as soon as we hired who we hired, that the Raiders were going to go out and try to buy a Super Bowl. And if that's the fact, then Matthew Stafford makes all the sense in the world, right? If you're going to for 1 year, 2 years, a 1 year prove it deal, and maybe we'll sign you next year, then it makes sense. If you think Matthew Stafford's that dude, if you think you know Sam Darnold's that dude for a 1 year, then go do it. But to sign these guys for you know 3 years, $150 million is just absolutely crazy to me. And I just don't see Spytek or Pete Carroll, you know, being crazy like that. Definitely, in your first year as GM, in your first year as head coach. And I think I still, again, my gut feeling just says, and it's not even a gut feeling. If you look at the numbers with Aiden O'Connell, 6-1 when we rushed for over 100 yards, and he should be 7-0. Like if it wasn't for that botch snap. So, um, again, just repeating myself for the people that just popped in. You know, you can win with a pocket quarterback. You just have to have an offensive line and a run game, and it's been proven in the NFL. There's been many, many teams, mostly all teams. I mean, if you want to look at it, mostly all teams have won a Super Bowl with a pocket quarterback. A top 10 defense, and a run game. And we don't have a run game. We had the worst run game we've ever had in the history of our franchise. And that's, I mean, that's just pathetic, bro. It's just pathetic. Let me get to this shit. I don't want to be ignoring my chat lives. D-Menace in the building. Overpaying Stafford does not seem the best way, especially. Wait, let me put this up. My bad. Especially if the Raiders need to trade for him, stick with a free agent, or draft a quarterback. But what free agent would you go after? I mean, do you go after a Justin Fields who's, quarterback rating and uh and quarterback, percentage is just it's not worth the $6 or $8 million or whatever he's gonna want. I mean, the quarterback list is not really big. I mean, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. It's not a big selection. You either pay 45 million for 1 year or 2 years, 100 mil. You get it 3 years, 150 mil for a Sam Darnold, or you take a shot on a Justin Fields. And I don't know. I thought Justin Fields was the guy. I was one of the biggest advocate last year. If you don't believe me, go back and watch my videos on who we should bring in. And I thought it was Russell Wilson. For a sixth round pick, the price was it was just something you, as a franchise, you can't pass on. And the Steelers were the smartest ones to say, I'm not passing on this deal. And they went after Justin Fields. But after I seen him play against the Raiders, and, yes, he was 4-2 before he got pulled, which is 50-50. But damn, with the team he had, everybody said it was the Chicago Bears offensive line. It was the coaching in Chicago. It wasn't. It was not. It was his accuracy. It was his inability pre-snap read defenses, um, to to notice disguise defenses, um, to throw guys open. Like he's not a quarterback; he's a running back. So, I mean, Justin Fields, maybe Greg Olson can fix him in a year or two. I mean, he is only 25. I get it. That's 25. He's been in the NFL, what, 4 years now? 5 years? I mean, that's absolutely wild. But if you want to go that route, there's other quarterbacks, and I know people are gonna laugh at me, but I won't even say his name. No, I will. Trey Lance is also 24 years old, but he's been in the NFL for 4 years. Now, does he look like an NFL franchise quarterback? No, but he came into the NFL at 20 years old. Nobody's been able to fix him. Somebody eventually, or maybe eventually, he'll catch on to the NFL, get with the program. I mean, at $2 million, $2.2 million for a Trey Lance, I'm signing him just for the hell of it to bring him into camp. And if he doesn't work, cut him. It's worth a shot for $2 million if you're willing to spend 25 on a Gardner Minshew for 2 years. I mean, so I mean, there are free agents you can go out and get, but there's not a lot. And sign a quarterback. Who do you move up for? Cam Ward to the first round? I mean, to the first pick, if he if say Tennessee, all right, let me give you this scenario. Come on, 13 people in here. I need answers. Um, hit them like buttons too. Don't forget. Uh, what was I even gonna say? My bad. So if Tennessee decides to go with Abdul Carter at number one, and say number two is whoever, but it's not a quarterback, which I mean, come on, it's probably Travis Hunter more than likely. We'll say, Carter goes one, Hunter goes two. Do you trade up to the third spot, knowing that that third spot might, you know, not might, but definitely needs a quarterback? If they don't go get one in free agency, if they try to hold off, to see who's there at the end, or if they bring in somebody that they think might be a backup or compete for the job, not somebody like a Sam Darnold that's going to cost them 45 million, which you're pretty much starting, and unless something crazy happens. um do you move up for a Cam Ward, or do you move up to third to get Shedeur? Do you call the Giants and say, who are you taking, if they'll tell you, and move up to the fourth spot to get your guy if it's Cam Ward or Shedeur if he's there? Maybe the Giants have their quarterback. Say the Giants have their quarterback in free agency and they go get Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields, which I mean would make sense to me. Russell Wilson, he helped the Steelers. He might help that franchise, especially if you're drafting a quarterback. There's a million scenarios. What would y'all do? Roll with AOC. Staff has no wheels. Why do you think all these coaches are so apprehensive about Aiden O'Connell? Well, I mean, I don't know if they are so apprehensive. We don't know how they feel about Aiden O'Connell yet. We don't know how Tom Brady feels about Aiden O'Connell. We don't know how Spytek feels about Aiden O'Connell. Hopefully, and if y'all haven't seen already, Raiders tomorrow. Um, the fuck you even call it? I don't know why my brain is not working. Press conferences, Raider press conferences tomorrow. Spytek 10 a.m. my time, Central Time. I don't know about y'all. And then I do believe Coach will be on at like 1 o'clock. So hopefully somebody asks the question how they feel about Aiden O'Connell. Where's Aiden O'Connell at? Have they evaluated any tape? Is it too early to ask? I mean, we don't know. We don't know what, we have no idea what Tom Brady thinks. But I know what I got out of Tom Brady's comments of saying, he wants somebody that can beat teams with their mind, doesn't have to be the fastest, doesn't have to be mobile, doesn't have to have the strongest arm, has to know how to read defenses, pre-snap, wants somebody that knows the teams he's facing because he's in the playbook, in the film room studying these guys so he knows what's coming, knows defenses, pre-snap read. All that shit was Aiden O'Connell to me. I mean, you don't have to be an Aiden O'Connell fan to know that Aiden O'Connell has all the shit Tom Brady mentioned he wants in a quarterback, a guy that's, stuck around. He was eighth string at Purdue. The dude stuck around, stuck around, stuck around. He had 62 touchdowns in 2 years at Purdue as a starter. I mean, come on, that's crazy numbers, bro. That's just crazy numbers. Um, so I believe you can win with Aiden O'Connell, and his numbers again. His numbers prove it. Like I don't know what he was for his career. Oh, I do know. So this year he started 5 games, played in 7. 2 of those games he got injured, in the Tampa Bay game, left the game with his thumb or whatever, vice versa. I don't know which one was which. I can't remember. And then the other game, he left with his knee injury. We all thought, he was out for the season. So he didn't play in that entire game. He still threw for 1,000 yards in 5 starts, threw for 1,000 yards was 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with no run game, a mixed match offensive line. I mean, yeah, I believe you can win with Aiden O'Connell. I believe you could win with a lot of these, backups in the right system. I've heard talks of Zach Wilson. I mean, come on. If Sean Payton can't fix Zach Wilson, I'm not taking a chance or a flyer on Zach Wilson. I mean, he was decent. I think 2 years ago with the Jets, they were one of the only teams that beat the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a big check mark, on your to do list as a quarterback. Um, but other than that, I just I don't see like a Jameis Winston maybe. Um, a guy people are going to probably shit their pants when I mention, but Kyle Trask. And why Kyle Trask? Well, in Florida, he did have a season where I don't know the exact numbers, so don't crucify me, but I believe it was like 46, 43, 46 touchdowns to like 8 interceptions or some shit in Florida. That's a hell of a season, right? Um, Crazy ass numbers. And then he goes and sits behind Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is the biggest supporter of quarterbacks sitting for a year. You sit behind the GOAT. And then who do they bring in behind him? Baker Mayfield. So you get the GOAT, and then you get a guy like Baker Mayfield, that's a gunslinger that, you know, was labeled a bust for many years until he had that one moment against the Las Vegas Raiders as a Ram and kind of uplifted him and sent his career on an upward trajectory, which he just needed the right fit in the right system, and Tampa seemed to be it. So Kyle Trask is a big dude. He's like 6'5", 37 pounds, 237 or some shit. Um, has a strong ass arm, and you sat behind Tom Brady. So, I mean, you got to learn something. How could you not learn something behind Tom Brady? Another person, if we're talking, and like I said, he had one of the best college football seasons, up there with Jaden Daniels. If you go back and look at, ask Chat GPT or whatever the hell you use to Siri or something to compare their numbers, but they're very damn similar. So Kyle Trask is a guy that is a free agent. He did he he's was a free agent, was just in Tampa with Spytech. So Spytech knows the guy. He knows what he can do. I don't know if he was involved in, drafting him or any of that shit, but it could work, right? It could work. It could be one of those sleepers that you bring in that nobody knows about, that comes in and just has a hell of a year. I mean, we've seen how many quarterbacks, the list goes on of guys that sit for a year and then come in and just kill it. Tom Brady, um, Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I just feel that's the best thing to do is, develop a quarterback, draft your guy. If you feel your guy is Shedeur Sanders, draft him, go up and get him. If you feel your guy is Cam Ward, draft him. If he's there at 6, go up and get him. If you feel your guy is Jackson fucking Dart, or excuse my language, or Shedeur, um, whatever, Kyle McCord, pull the trigger, go up and get him. But if you don't feel your quarterback is there, I don't see a position really that we need to pick at 6. Trade back, get capital, build this team this year, build it in free agency, build it in a draft. We don't need to go crazy in free agency. Um, I'll get to these in a minute. But yeah, we don't need to go absolutely wild. We have holes, but we have holes that, We don't know what a lot of these guys on the roster, if they're coming back with 27 free agencies, 27 free agents, we don't know who's going to be back. But we know that we had a lot of guys show that they could be depth pieces when guys went down, right? Harper, Caleb Chasen, Jonah Lalu. Hopefully, these guys are signed. They're brought back because they were key pieces on this team. Nate Hobbs is definitely up in the air, in my opinion. Um, as we're talking about that, let me get into this before I talking about the next subject. Salute Dax, appreciate you pulling up. Um, that's Duts. Appreciate you pulling up. Why do you think these coaches are apprehensive about Aiden O'Connell? I don't know. I don't know. I think last year it wasn't Antonio Pierce's call. I don't think it was his decision to go with Gardner Minshew. I think not even think. I feel deep down in my nuts that it was upper management, whether it be Tom Telesco, whether it be Tom Telesco and some of the older guys that have been head coaches that were in AP's ear that decided to go with Gardner Minshew. But we all know that it was money. You're not going to pay a guy $26 million that you bring in free agency and have him sit on the bench as a backup to a guy that played in 10 games the year before as a rookie thrown into the fire. So I feel AP wanted to go with Aiden O'Connell. It wasn't all his choice, and they went with Gardner. And by the time they went with Aiden, it was too late. And I think they were apprehensive because there wasn't really a lot of tape. We had a decent run game towards the end of the season with Zamir White running for over 100 yards a game. We had a pretty solid ass defense. Our defense went from the 20s down to the 13s, 12s, even close to the top 10 in some categories after Antonio Pierce took over. So you really didn't get a whole lot of evaluation on Aiden O'Connell. He wasn't asked to throw the ball for 30, 40 times a game like he was this year. Um, this year, I think, we've seen his progression definitely. And you've seen the trust in the coaches. I think as soon as Norv Turner took over, not Norv Turner, but Scott Turner took over, Scott knew Aiden O'Connell. He'd been with Aiden. What the fuck? Hello? Well, I'm still alive, I think. No, I didn't. Sorry about that. I don't know what's up. Um, the hell was I talking about? I have no idea. Oh shit! Gotta love interruptions. The fuck was I even saying? All right, let's just get back to this. So, yeah, so there wasn't really much tape on Aiden O'Connell. It wasn't enough games to see whether he wasn't that guy, especially not being the guy in training camp. You can look at I'll get to this in a minute, but he wasn't CJ Stroud, who was drafted number one, who had the team all offseason built around him and came in and started from day one. He was Aiden O'Connell, the third round quarterback, holding a clipboard all year to Jimmy G coming off an injury, who was supposed to be the guy, the savior for Dick Daniels and Brian Hoyer. So, this dude just got thrown into the mix and performed pretty damn well. And yes, I know last year he had 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, right? But how come nobody goes and looks at Aiden O'Connell's record of starting last year and say, all right, so he played in 10, played in 11 games. He started in 10. In the first 4 games, out of those 7 interceptions, he threw 6 of them in the first 4 games. In the last 6 games, he threw one interception to 9 touchdowns. He did the same thing this year. It, he threw 4 touchdowns to one interception in the last 3 games of the season. The only games he started in completely and played in. The other two he got hurt in. So, I mean, I just I don't know. I don't know what it is about Aiden O'Connell. It's the fact that he's mobile. I don't know, the fact that he's a Christian and I think it's going to be another Derek Carr scenario. He's going to start a church in Vegas and be a preacher. I have no idea. I don't know. I can't answer that. But from what I see a guy that has intelligence. I see a guy that can read defenses, that can, that can be that guy if you put the right pieces around him or you give him a whole season to see if he can be that guy, right? He's never had that opportunity. If you look at his 17 games started, like I said, he has 3,830 yards, 20 touchdowns, 11 interceptions with an 85.1 QBR. That's starting numbers, bro. That's not a backup. And in anybody's category, in anybody's league, on anybody's team. That's not backup numbers. That's starting numbers. And the fact that he has those numbers with only 6 of those 20 games as wait, what, as a starter? Yeah, in those 17 games, he's only had over 100-yard rusher in 6 of them, and he won all of those. Like I said, I mean, I don't know. It makes no sense. Cam Ward at 3. Titans will draft Cam Ward. Giants will draft Shedeur Sanders if he's there. In my opinion, 100%. Well, I do believe in history, and this might be a thing, and it might not be a thing, and it might be wrong. I don't know. But somebody said on their live the other day, and somebody posted it on Twitter, I do believe, or some shit. But they said the Giants has never drafted a black quarterback in the history of the NFL in the first round. I don't know if it's the first round or ever, but if it's ever, I mean, that is wild shit to me. That is crazy. And maybe it has to do with something with the owner. I don't know. But I mean, if they do, that would be crazy because if that stat is true, that is the craziest shit. I mean, I wouldn't have thought. So there might be something there. They might shock the world and go draft Jackson Dart. I mean, if you're looking for a mobile quarterback that I keep comparing to Josh Allen because, the dude will jump over people. He'll throw his shoulder down. He's not trying to slide. Um, he's that dude that's going to pick up yards on the ground. When it's 3rd and 2, he's going to get you a first down. When it's 3rd and 15, he's going to run and get you a first down. So maybe they want, that kind of guy. We've heard all the talks saying Shedeur is not the quarterback people are looking for. It's not the guy the NFL wants this, anymore, which is the problem with Aiden O'Connell. Somebody said, I was just answering a question. What do you think the problem is with Aiden O'Connell? It's not what NFL teams are looking for. They want that mobile quarterback, dual threat that can beat you with his arm, or actually triple threat. You got to be able to beat you with his arm, his mind, and his legs nowadays. It's not just being able to run. It's not just being able to throw. You got to have intelligence. You got to be able to read defenses, no disguises, be able to pick up stunts and get the ball out fast. You can't hold the ball for a long time in the NFL, which is Shedeur Sanders' biggest knock out of all, I mean, there's not like a long list of critiques on Shedeur, but the short list of critiques on him is the fact that he takes too many sacks. He was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in college football, not just last year, but the year before and the year before that. You can blame it on offensive line, but if you're an athletic quarterback, you shouldn't be the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Like Josh Allen has had plenty of years where he didn't have a great offensive line, wasn't the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. Like, you know, so that's not an excuse. And I think that's a big factor is teams are going away from the pocket quarterback. That's just not what they want anymore. And especially, yes, like I'm stuck on repeat, especially with the Super Bowl and what Jalen Hurts did. All year long, he averaged, some games threw for 110, 140, 150 yards. Some games he threw for 225, but not many games he threw for over that, right? His average was somewhere between 220 a game with one touchdown in the air. Like that's not a great average, but you won a Super Bowl because you had a great defense, the best defense in the league, and the best running game in the league. Now, not every team's going to be able to get that, but that's the way the NFL is going. You look at what Jaden Daniels did this year. He's one of the top quarterbacks in this league, and right now, I mean, if he doesn't have that sophomore slump like C.J. Stroud had, the kid is top five in the league right now, in my opinion. There's just because of his dual threat and his accuracy downfield, the way he reads defenses, the way his work ethic. Not everybody's going to have that. Must be because you're turning 50 soon. That's fucked up, man. Like, won't be like that. Damn. Alpha Raider, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you. Um, what do you think about Shedeur Sanders not throwing at the combine? Ruben McQueen, what's good? What's good? What's good? We need to keep AOC. Yeah, I mean, we're keeping AOC. I don't see he's not going anywhere. We'd be stupid to get rid of AOC, a quarterback that, you know, doesn't actually have a winning record, but it's not all his fault. I mean, just look at the team he had around him. The worst rushing, the worst running game in the history of the Raiders, and the worst in the NFL. Has there ever been a team rush for less than 70 yards a game in the NFL? Somebody look that up for me. I was going to look that up before I got on here, but I did not. I did not. Um, what? Special. Didn't I say E special? Whatever. Fuck it, man. What, don't be talking about my country grammar. Get out of here. That shit. What's wrong with you? Um. So yeah, look. Um. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think we're gonna do? Where do you think we're gonna go? I see people in the chat saying keep Aiden O'Connell. Like I said, we'd be dumb to move on from Aiden O'Connell. And I think, to me, if Aiden O'Connell was the starter on day one, I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked at all if we draft a quarterback. Now, if we don't draft a quarterback and we sign a free agent and he's the starter, then bro, I'm gonna shit myself because I'm be like, I, that's just wrong, 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 wrong. But like I said in the beginning, go back and watch everybody that paid big money for a quarterback in the last 2 years has come in and failed. Besides Sam Darnold, he had a pretty good year in a damn good situation in Minnesota. Who, let's face it, they were really just a quarterback away. I mean, they had a pretty solid defense. They had a okay offensive line. You know, they moved some pieces around at running back. So you're walking into that okay system. Um, I went to three game. Game one was the Chargers. Too many mistakes versus the Rams. AOC looked good. Uh, moved the ball, then broke his thumbs. Raiders need a big name quarterback to keep Max, but quarterback wants. Which quarterback wants to play in Las Vegas with Pete Carroll there? I believe a lot of quarterbacks are going to want to play. I mean, with Max Crosby there, I think a lot of quarterbacks are going to want to play there. When you have a guy like Max Crosby on the defense and Christian Wilkins, let's not forget about Christian Wilkins. Um, and whoever they decide to bring back, Jack Jones is still under contract. If we decide to keep him and not move on, I think Jack Jones can have a pretty decent year under Pete Carroll, way better than he had last year. Hopefully, he gets back to that first half a season that he came in with Antonio Pierce. That would be fire. If not, I mean, we could move on from him. But yeah, I agree. Too many mistakes, dumb decisions, and AOC. I mean, he's looked good in every game he's played in. I don't. Besides the mobility and the running, he's not. That's the only knock on him. And like I said, that's starting to be the knock on Shedeur now too. Is he's a pocket passer, and that's just not what the NFL is. Everybody's going away from that, which I don't understand. Because you look at teams like the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff, like they had a damn good run. Their defense didn't hold up in the playoffs. Jared Goff, got behind, was trying to do way too much through 4 interceptions or whatever. Did not help. But I thought the game plan was shit from what they did all year with the two running backs. Why they went away from that whole scenario, I, I don't know. I think Gibbs had a big day, but they both could have had a big day. But they did damn good, right? With Matthew Stafford, who everybody's wanting the Raiders to go pay $50 million for and trade picks for, is a pocket passer. The dude don't run. He's not a mobile quarterback. I think he ran the ball 20, 30 something times last year for like 40 yards, like same as Aiden O'Connell, bro. So he's not a mobile quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is past his prime when it comes to running. He's not athletic anymore to he's gonna scramble if he has to. But other than that, he's not, mobile and athletic. He still did decent at the end of the year. So there's, there's guys that win. Look at what the hell? I don't know why I want to say it wasn't not Matt Ryan. Who the hell the old timer came in and was just killing it for Cleveland. So pocket passers still can win in the NFL, but you have to have an offensive line and a defense, and you have to have guys that can catch the ball and guys that can get open. Get off the line fast, because most of the time when you have a pocket passer, guys are going to do one thing: blitz, 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 blitz constantly. And that's what, every team has done against Aiden O'Connell. And I think he's pretty decent at beating the blitz. And it just makes no sense when you have a guy that's making 1.4 mil that can win you games with the right pieces around him, to go out and get a guy that you got to pay 30 or 35 mil and still put the right pieces around that we don't have yet. So, and the same thing with drafting a quarterback is drafting a quarterback in the first round, not knowing who your running backs are going to be, or who you're signing, if you're trading for a running back, if you're going and signing one in free agency, which Najee Harris at nine million a year is crazy to me, when you wouldn't pay Josh Jacobs 10 million a year, 11 million. I mean, that makes no sense absolutely at all. I know Najee Harris didn't fumble, I believe, last year. I mean, he's had 1,000 yards every season, so you can pretty much count on 1,000 yard back, which 1,000 yards would be much better than the 420 we got from Madison. I mean, but it's also $7 million more than we paid for Madison. So, um, Rogers to Pitt, L.A. Stafford, Pitt rumors, Darnold to L.A. Our stay in Minnesota, Fields to the Jets. I think I believe Aaron Rodgers. Let me put this up here. Shit. I believe Aaron Rodgers makes sense to Pittsburgh. They brought in a mobile quarterback. It didn't work, right? They brought in two mobile quarterbacks. It wasn't what they wanted. They won with Big Ben, right? They won with Ben Roethlisberger, a big pocket passer that can stand in there, throw the ball downfield, has a strong arm, makes quick decisions, reads defenses. You know, if he has to run, he's hard to take down because he's a big, strong body. I think that's what they need. That's when they played their best football. So they've tried mobile quarterbacks. They tried, reaching drastically reaching for a quarterback in the first round when they took Kenny Pickett, when they could have had Josh Allen. So, I mean, the Steelers are in trouble. I think Mike Tomlin is in his last year possibly. If they don't make the playoffs and do something drastically good this season, I mean, I don't know. So, do you take a shot for Aaron Rodgers 1 year? I don't know. We still don't even know if Aaron Rodgers wants to play. Like, is he going to get the money he wants to come out and play, or is he going to retire? I mean, that's another big question. But I definitely wouldn't be mad at Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I see him going to Los Angeles. I just see LA being a better fit if they move on from Stafford. And I feel again that gut feeling that the whole reason Stafford was even mentioned in the conversation of go out, see what you can get for teams, in a trade package or what they're willing to pay you, so we can evaluate that shit, is because they want to talk to Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I mean, it's completely obvious. They're moving on from Cooper Cup, and now they want to get rid of Matthew Stafford. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon or a genius to figure out. It makes all the sense in the world. Aaron Rodgers would probably play way better in warm weather. And, if you look at it, which I guess he played better at the end of the year, but he seems to play better in domes where he's not, in cold weather. So it makes more sense, but it doesn't make sense to me if you're the Rams, like you were 10-7 with a damn good team. You got a damn good defense. Everybody has camaraderie there. Why would you why would you blow it up to take a chance on Aaron Rodgers, who, this year was what, 20-8, 20-11 or whatever, touchdowns to interceptions. Not great. Probably one of his worst years. Coming off an Achilles year where he didn't play but what, 4 minutes in a game or some shit crazy. I mean, that's a crazy, crazy chance to take if you're the Rams. Swinging, that's definitely swinging for the fences in my opinion. And you have to look at, if they go that route, you're getting rid of Cooper Cup, who was injured at the beginning of the year, but they didn't really throw him the ball too much. He's still a damn good receiver. And Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams struggled drastically, drastically together. So I mean, that would be a crazy scenario, I would think, for the Rams, just to let Matthew Stafford go. But if they do let him go, it makes all the sense in the world. You're right, Dax, completely. Stafford to Pitt. Now that would make more sense to me. That would make way more sense to me. You have a guy, that can get the ball to your top receiver, in Pickens, which the man can run down the field. He can get open. You just haven't had a quarterback that can throw it to him. So Stafford would be that guy, if he stays healthy. But at his age, man, you have to worry about $50 million at that age. But it definitely makes sense if I was the Steelers. Out of all these guys, I would try to bring back Justin Fields because I mean you were 4-2 with them. They took him out because they didn't want to give up a fourth round pick instead of a sixth round pick, which totally makes sense. But then when you look at the way they ended the end of the season, it makes no sense at all. I would have much rather made it to the playoffs and had a chance to compete for a Super Bowl and give up a fourth round pick than make it and flop because I over a fourth or a sixth round pick. Like makes no sense to me. I would have stayed with Justin Fields and played him and until he made a mistake. Like they weren't winning flashy, but he gives you way better option mobile wise if you can, dink and dunk, take chances once in a while down the field. He's going to hit probably one or out of five, maybe. Um, Definitely need a run game. The Raiders backfield needs help. Watch Denver beat the Raiders um, with their two tall receivers. Yeah, I mean, our passing game was not good. Jack Jones is not good against speedy, taller receivers, which we play a lot of. I mean, it's the NFL. So I definitely agree on that. The run game, I mean, that's to me, that's our biggest need. It's it's not even a talk. When you tell me now, if you said, you know, Gardner Minshew was going to be our quarterback for the starting season, and that was all we had, then I would say, quarterback might be the biggest need. But when you have a quarterback in Aiden O'Connell that can win you games, that can have big games, his best game of his career was against the Chargers, where he had 4 touchdowns. The same team that sacked him 7 times in his first start ever. So, the kid gets sacked 7 times against a team. The next time he plays them, he just drops 4 tutties on them. it's, I mean, I don't know, but my point is when you have a kid that can do that, that can win football games if you just put the right pieces around him and give him time to throw the ball. You don't even have to have the best offensive line or the best running back. You just have to have, you know, give him time. Give him time to throw the ball. It doesn't have to be 5, 7, 8 seconds because he does have a decent release and he is very decisive. He knows before he snaps the ball where he's going to go with the ball and reminds me of somebody that used to do that won a lot of Super Bowls. But um, you know, so if you have that in a building, a guy that can put up 300 yards and 2 touchdowns against the best defense in the NFL or the second best defense in the NFL at the time, the Kansas City Chiefs, or you have a running game that can put up 100-yard rushing game all season and average 60 yards a game, I think running back is the biggest need. I mean, I get it. I know we need quarterbacks to keep up with the AFC West and a blah 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 blah. But Aiden O'Connell's done that, bro. Um, Ernest, my guy, was good, bro. Been a long time. Like button ain't responding. Here's my like. Well, damn that like button. Appreciate you pulling up, man. It's been a minute. How's your boy doing? Ain't heard from him in a minute. Um, we need the second best quarterback in the AFC West to have a chance. I don't know. I just don't. I don't feel. I know the quarterback touches the ball the most. I know the quarterback makes all the calls on offense. Distributes the ball down the field. I know all that, but I don't think you have to have the second best in the division. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Bo Nix was the second best quarterback in our division. they did pretty damn good. I mean, I guess you definitely want to have the top quarterback or the second best in the quarterback in the division to compete. But it has been done with the third or fourth best quarterback in the division. If you have a better team, it's still a team sport. And the at the end of the day, it's still 11 on 11. So one guy can change a game, one guy can wreck a game, but one guy can't win a game, right? He can't throw the ball, run down there, catch it, block for himself. You can't do all that shit. So, but one guy can definitely lose a game. 2, 3 turnovers. Appreciate you hitting that like button. Um, we ain't throwing a bunch of money at a quarterback. Still feels as a choice. Then drafts Howard. I, I agree with that 100% too. I mean, the best option for the price wise is Justin Fields, but I don't see Justin Fields beating out Aiden O'Connell if it's a fair battle. I mean, his mobility and being able to run the ball is not going to be enough passing wise to beat out Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell is just way better at reading defenses, accuracy downfield, touch on the ball, like every aspect of passing. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they go that route, but I definitely see Will Howard, you know, being one of the top quarterbacks drafted. If the other three guys are off the board, it's where we draft them is the thing. I see a lot of reports saying third, fourth round. Teams might take chances on him. The Raiders might take a chance on Will Howard in the second, just because Chip Kelly knows him. I think that's too high. I think that's too high for me. I don't see him. I just don't see him being better really than Riley Leonard, and I see Riley Leonard being more athletic, way more mobile, faster when it comes, and more dynamic with the ball in his hand. If you're going third round, dude, take Riley Leonard. But I mean, Chip Kelly, I could see, if he thinks that's the guy, I'm not going to argue with it. But taking him in the second or third, I think for Will Howard is probably too high. I think he'll probably be there in I guess we have 2 third round picks. I wouldn't be mad taking him with the second, third round pick if they think that's the guy. But other than that, I mean, he should be there in the fourth. I would think. Fields was my pick last year and this year, whatever Chip wants to do. I mean, if we're going, best scenario price wise to quarterback, you have to put him in that mix. But let me throw out a name and why it makes sense. And actually, before I do that, do I still have that up here? Yeah. All right. So I know people are gonna trip. Actually, let me read all these and catch up before, so I know where I'm at. Um, um, Whatever Chip feels will work on offense. Fields, Darnold, Stafford, etc. Raiders need to compete again. I mean, I'm good with that too. My quarterback, she always got hands on my balls. That's why we need AOC to respond to competition from someone besides she. I mean, we do need him to respond to competition, but let, let me ask you this: people are constantly saying the biggest problem. Actually, what is the biggest problem? Let me ask you this before I go there. What is the biggest problem with the Raiders franchise? Is it development of players? Is it drafting the wrong players? Which one? I'll stop there. I was going to keep going, but I'll stop there. All right. Appreciate you unleashing addiction. Um, because I hear so much talk about the Raiders need to develop players. The Raiders don't develop their draft picks. But then those same hypocrites, and yes, I'm calling y'all hypocrites, the same hypocrites that sit there and say, we don't develop our draft picks. We draft guys and let them go. And, there's guys that you can think of, a long list of guys that we've drafted that go to other teams that win Super Bowls that, might not be starters, but are key depth pieces. And I mean, it just continues to happen every single year. But those same guys, same people, whether it be on X, whether it be content creators, whether it be just Raider fans or football fans in general, that say the Raiders' biggest problem is developing players, are the same people that say move on from Aiden O'Connell. Like, where's the development? You want to develop players. Our biggest problem is not developing the players we draft. You have a kid that's shown flashes over and over again, that's shown he can win games, that's shown he can do shit most first round quarterbacks don't do in their first 17 games or 20 games in the NFL. But we're not willing to develop them. Mark didn't know what the fuck he was doing with the team. Well, I mean, besides that, that's definitely a big problem. but he's fixing that problem, right? Fuck is up with this light? Oh, hey, that helps. Damn, I should have did that a long time ago. But he's working on it, right? He's got the right guys in the right place. Um, he's got Tom Brady and Tom Brady bought in Spytech. You bring in a coach that that's been there and done that. Got 2 chips in the college level. Should have 2 chips at the pro level. Only has one because of a bad mistake, a very bad mistake. Um, but we don't develop guys, is what I constantly hear. Every content creator, and I mean every single content creator, bitch about the development of players in this organization. Yet you want to throw $50 million on a guy that's been in the league for 16 years and taken nothing but abuse year after year after year, and hope to God that he doesn't get hurt this one year for us, that we decide to pay him 15 mil or 50 mil or 150 mil for 3 years. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to go pay that money. Now, what I was going to say is, there's a quarterback that's very, very, very cheap. And I'm just going to go through his stats before I say his name, because I feel, actually, I was going to put him on the board, but if I do that, it's probably going to give it away. Nah, probably won't. Okay. Let's just put him up. So let me put these stats up here. Oh, shit, not all those. All right, this one. Hopefully, y'all can't see the whole fucking thing. Haha. All right. So some of y'all will figure it out. Maybe some of y'all won't. I don't know. But so rookie year, you know, not the greatest. Definitely wasn't an Aiden O'Connell rookie year, but I'm just fucking. But for real, 16 games, 379 completions, 607 attempts, 62.4%, 3,782 yards, 6.2 average. Actually, it looks a lot like Aiden O'Connell, except for the touchdown to interception ratio. 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 33 sacks. Not the greatest. 46 point, uh, 46.7 QBR. But then in his second year, why? Because he was drafted very high, very, very high. Um, you know, Rookie year wasn't that great, didn't have all the pieces around him. But the next year, they let him develop, not develop because he started, but what better way to develop than to be thrown into the fire like other people we know and you know hands on development, right? Some say is the best, some say sitting and watching, learning the system, which you don't get to learn the speed of the game, the timing, with your players or any of that shit by sitting, in my opinion. Especially if you're drafted in the first round, that's just a waste of a pick to me. But the next year he comes in, plays in only 13 games, right? 265, 200, 440 attempts, so way less attempts. Has 3,296 yards, right? Which is less. 7.5, which is higher. 33 touchdowns, double. 7 interceptions, half of what he had last year. Only 28 sacks. 78.6 quarterback rating, right? Not a bad year. I do believe it was a Super Bowl year. And he only played in 13 games because he got hurt. Somebody came in and won that Super Bowl. We'll get to that later. But then the next year, right? I'm not going to break down all the numbers, but 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. The next year, 4,000 yards. No, this year, second year, I forgot to mention 33-7. They had a damn good defense, and one hell of a running game, kind of like they did this year when they won a Super Bowl. Is kind of why you probably get these numbers right here. Then so yeah, 3,027 or 21-7, 4,000 yards, 27-7. Then he starts to drop off a little bit, but coming off a Super Bowl run, you lose people, right? The team starts falling off. You don't draft as well. You know, the salary cap, all that shit comes into play. The team gets a little bit worse. Quarterback usually gets blamed for it, but his numbers show, right? Back to the first year, 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, only 2,600 yards. Completion goes down to 57%. Then he goes to Indianapolis, pops right back up, right? 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 62 point ratio. QBR goes back up to 60, whatever. Then he goes to Washington, has no offensive line, has no run game, has, okay, maybe one receiver, but you got I'm playing no defense, bad coaching, has all of that. Numbers totally drop. 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in only 8 games, 1,700 yards. Not really good numbers, right? Then he goes to the Rams, doesn't play at all. But this is my point. He goes to the Rams in a Sean McVay system, which has been known for rejuvenizing quarterbacks' careers. Yeah, you got it. Ding, ding, ding. My guy's right. So, yeah. So he goes, to the Rams. He gets in one game, throws 2 touchdowns, run for one. Not a great average. But then he goes and sits behind the 3-time Super Bowl champs, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. You know, yes, Nick Foles won that Super Bowl. Yes, Carson Wentz is the man I'm talking about. Why wouldn't you bring in a Carson Wentz who sat behind one of the best quarterback, you know, whisperers in Sean McVay at the Rams? if you look at these numbers I just told you and you didn't know who it was, you would have said sign him up, right? Why aren't we signing this quarterback in free agency without knowing the name? Most people would have been like, bro, I'll take those numbers. 3,000 yards, 3,000 yards. I mean, dude, except for the 1 year in 2020 where he was 16 and 15 in his first year, you'll take those numbers all day, right? And I'm not saying bring him in as a starter. I'm saying bring him in because of his experience. Because in his first or second year, he went to a Super Bowl. He got hurt. Somebody else won the Super Bowl. He still battled. He's had problems. He's been bounced around the league, shitty situations. The last 2 years, he was in good organizations that had good quarterbacks that lucky for them didn't get hurt, but unlucky for him they didn't get hurt, so he didn't really um didn't really need his shit. But the point is, he's a damn good veteran that's been to a Super Bowl, that would probably fit in a Chip Kelly system. The man is 6'5", 200. Wait, let me get his shit so I'm not just talking out my ass. Yeah, 6'5", 237. I mean, come on. It makes all the sense in the world. And then if you want to go look at his numbers, I mean, what it would cost to bring him in. Stop screen. Yeah. If you want to go look at his numbers to bring him in, bro, it's less than $2 million, I think, is his shit. So for less than $2 million, you could bring in a Carson Wentz. You could start Aiden O'Connell. You could draft your quarterback of the future. And if you don't believe your quarterback of the future is in this draft, like a lot of teams and a lot of executives and a lot of people that I don't want to say talk to, but a lot of people that whatever, heard from, um, that don't think these quarterbacks in this draft are franchise quarterbacks. They need development, they need time to sit, and taking them in the first round is risky as hell. So if you do your homework, I mean, the man, I mean, yeah, good research, 100%. He's that Rich Gannon type, maybe. I mean, I don't know. He could definitely be a Rich Gannon type if you're gonna run, a system where it's just 5 yards, 10 yards, 15-yard dunks, slants, drag routes, wheel routes, like we did with Rich Gannon. He would definitely work in that system. But the man still has an arm. He, has a pretty good percentage um, throwing the deep ball. He threw against when he played in that Rams game against the 49ers, dropped two dimes for touchdowns. So he still has touch on a deep ball. Excuse me, has touch on the short passes, and he could definitely, be that Rich Gannon type guy. But if he doesn't win out in camp, which I mean, you bring him in for the battle, but you definitely bring him in um, just for his knowledge, right? Development starts with uh, real draftees with heart, desire, but in the weight room, dedication, good physical traits, and coaching with great assistance. I mean, 100%. And you can't say Aiden O'Connell doesn't have any of that shit, right? But wow, you just revealed my brain aneurysm on QB. I can now cruise things. Oh, but yeah, man. I mean, I agree with you 100%, right? So you can go that route, but did I have free agent quarterbacks pulled up on this shit? Oh, look at that. I was prepared at last. I mean, shit. I ain't from Missouri, but I come from that don't talk about it, be about it, show me state, right? So, not Carson Wentz, not this. Think this one. Fuck, I don't know. Ha. All right. So, quarterback free agents. I mean, like I said, don't talk about it, be about it. So you got Sam to the Diz Arnold, Zach Wilson, again, Trey Lance, like I mentioned, Jacoby Brissett, Brisket, um, yeah to the no. I mean, 32 is a veteran. No, you got Tyler Heineken, uh, Marcus Mariota. We all know what he did in Oregon with Chip to the Kelly. Worked out pretty good. I just don't think it's going to work. Um, Drew Lock didn't look bad with the Giants. If you look at his offensive line, I mean, he did have Malik Neighbors. What's market value for my guy? Not my guy. I don't give a shit about Drew Lock. Um, 3.1 mil. I mean, there's a guy with a strong arm. You know, could be that Sam Darnold type. Breakout guy for the right team in the right system. I don't know. Jared Stidham, I'm a no on. Justin Fields, I already know his cap is 6.2. Joe Flacco, that's the quarterback I was trying to talk about earlier. Like Joe Flacco is 98 years old and fucking walks with a cane, but he can still come in and stand in the pocket and throw for 400 yards a game and just destroy defenses. Like, but the day of the pocket passer is done with. I don't understand. Jameis Winston, what's his market value? Damn, that's cray cray. You know, okay, at 6 million for Jameis Winston, he is a first round pick overall. He did throw for 5,000 yards this year, 32 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, I do believe, somewhere in there. I'm not exact on my numbers. I'm just guessing. Um, Actually, I don't even have to guess. I don't think. Let me see. Stats should be right here. No, come on, man. Why'd you stop working? Fuck. All right, so no stats. Not gonna wait. Maybe it's on the other page. No. All right, so I don't have the stats. Shit. I got a nap. Bless you. Hey, I appreciate you pulling up, my brother. You have a blessed one. Um, AOC is still worth something. Brady will check him out for sure. I think Tom Brady's already checked him out. I'm sure Tom Brady's watched some Raider games before he took over ownership, knew what he was getting into, and I think he's hinted around to it. Uh, Great breakdown and great point. Wentz could be the answer, like Darnold in Minnesota, 50 million on a quarterback deal. It's a huge risk, and when exactly. But the deal with Wentz is Carson Wentz had way better years than Sam Darnold ever had, ever. Like just just three of his years put together were better than Sam Darnold's whole career. Now, yes, Sam Darnold had a damn good year last year, but like I said, bro, he had all the pieces around him. He was just the missing puzzle piece to that, you know, to what they were trying to do over there. And I just don't see him coming in and being that guy somewhere else. Um, Thanks, Winston is a leader of the 30-30 club. He's the only one in the 30-30 club, right? Like, is there more? Fuck, I didn't know there was more guys in the 30-30 club. But yeah, I mean, I love Jameis Winston's his interviews, his character. He would be a great locker room guy. And I mean, I would even say it in those 30 interceptions, you have to look at the guys he was throwing the flipping ball to. I mean, come on, bro. Amari Cooper dropped a wide open touchdown that would have beat the Raiders. They would have won that game. Amari Cooper was wide open. Deshaun Watson threw the ball 65 or 70 yards in the air, and Deshaun Watson dropped a wide, I mean, Amari Cooper dropped a wide open touchdown. And then, like 2 drives later, somebody else got wide open and dropped another wide open touchdown. There was so many balls tipped at the line of scrimmage. I think like 8 balls tipped at the line of scrimmage that were intercepted or some shit crazy. So, Jameis Winston had a very bad year when it comes to touchdown interception ratio, but the dude threw for 5,000 yards, bro. Like, there's what, 4 quarterbacks, or I could be wrong, maybe 5 that have thrown for 5,000 plus yards in the NFL. Like, that's not a feat that everybody accomplishes, bro. That's a crazy feat right there to do on a team like the Cleveland Browns. I mean, come on, bro. He didn't get no help from his run game, passing out of the backfield. Okay, he got help in the run game, but catching out of the backfield, no help. Guys holding on to balls or catching balls, no help. You know, so I would not be mad at Jameis Winston, bro. I wouldn't be mad one bit for $6 million. Like, he's a guy, again, he could run the ball. You just He had all the pressure on his shoulders, and I think that's been Jameis Winston's. Let's look at his career stats. Hold up, I want to look at something real quick. Um, but I think that's been Winston's problem his whole career is he's had all the pressure on his shoulders, right? Since the day he was drafted. Um, he's had fucking he's had to do too much, right? He's had to be that guy. Everybody expected him to be the savior. Um, Career stats. That's not his career stat. Oh wait, maybe. All right. So let me remove this shit. That didn't work. Fuck. La di da di dee, la di da di da. Matthew Stafford stats. No, we want Jameis Winston's. All right, just for shits to the giggles, right? Shits to my giggles. Jameis Winston as a rookie. Holy shit! On the fucking bro. Damn. All right, I digress. Not only would I take Jameis Winston, I want Jameis Winston to be a Raider, dude. What the fuck? Like, holy shit. With the Tampa Bay Bucks 2015, he only put up in 16 starts 4,042 yards. So he's thrown for 5,000 yards before. That's not his first time. Um, 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, sacked 26 times, 27 times. Damn, with a 57 QBR. Why? Did he fumble a lot? Um, 58.3 completion ratio, not very good. But damn, the next year, 28 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, 4,000 yards, 60 completion ratio. Um, Holy shit, bro. He threw the ball 567 times in 16 games. So he started all 16, sacked 35 times, not very good. 59.5, bro. They're harsh on these quarterback ratings. Golly. Um, his third year, which 2017, I mean, I don't watch Tampa Bay. I'm a Raiders fan, so I couldn't tell you like who they had on that team, but I don't think it was a great team. Like Tampa was bad for a long time. So a long time, but um they're not bad numbers, right? The third year, 19 and 11, not great. 3,500 yards. Um again, I don't know, but it looks like the team just was getting weaker. Maybe he was getting, falling off. But it doesn't look that way when you look at the next shit because 19 touchdowns, 40. Damn, he did the same thing in Tampa as he did in Cleveland. So in 2019, he had 5,109 yards, 33 touchdowns with 30 interceptions, sacked 47 flipping times. I thought he was a mobile quarterback. Um, then he goes to New Orleans and they don't do shit with him. But in 2021, he did have in 7 games 14 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and was sacked only 11 times. So when he went to New Orleans in 2021, he definitely had an offensive line around him and put up not too bad numbers. So again, bro, Jameis Winston, I'm taking a flyer on. I'm swinging for the fences on that shit. At $6 million, he's a way okay. Yeah, he's a way better passer than Justin Fields. Probably not as mobile, but he can take off and run and make plays with his legs. He can pick up the first down if he has to. So, I mean, shit, I'm sold on just Jameis Winston, bro. Wait, that's 2000 and what the fuck? What? 2024? He only passed for 2,000 yards? Okay, well, I was totally wrong, but I could have swore I just seen his stats that said that he passed for fucking 5,000 yards this year. Well, there goes that. So if he only passed for 2,000 yards with 13 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, then no, I'm not. I take that back. I don't want James Winston. I digress again. Oh, not too bad. 100, 200 yards rushing, 40 attempts. I mean, not the best rusher in the game, but it'll work. So, I mean, let me know where y'all stand. Do y'all think, you know, um, do you think you go for a Carson Wentz? Have him as the backup. Let Aiden start the season. Go into camp knowing that he's the guy. Just one time, and give him not a blotched up 17 games because I've already said the numbers like 40 times, almost 4,000 yards, 20 and 11 touchdown to interception ratio. But those were 10 starts last year, a start here, a start there this year, and then starting the last 3 games. So, you know, there's no consistency. Um, there's no faith in knowing that you're the guy, or there's no belief that that the team believes that you're the guy. They're not showing them at all that they're willing to, that they have any trust or faith in the kid at all, the way they've been doing them. But from what he showed, I mean, damn, I would not be mad at bringing in a guy like a Carson Wentz. And again, he can play that backup role. You don't if you draft a quarterback or you wait till next year, whatever it is. But I feel like there's guys out there again. Riley Leonard in the fourth round or third round if he's there. Will Howard. I mean, there's guys you can draft and let them sit for a year. It makes all the sense in the world to me. Build up the defensive line more. That's what I would do. So, you know, that's that for that. Carson Wentz, I mean, not Carson Wentz, Isaiah Palomau was re signed with the Raiders 2 years, $8.5 million. I love Isaiah Palomau. There's people that say it's a steal. I don't believe it's a steal, bro. I'm sorry. I think, I think, Ray Love was good, was good. I believe they kind of did Nate Hobbs dirty, kind of do Malcolm Kuntz dirty. Um, Trayvon Morrig, Trayvon Morrig, Trayvon Flippin Morrig. They kind of did dirty. I mean, I believe it was a very, 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 very bold move signing Isaiah Palmau, as I call him. Signing Palmau to $8.5 million for 2 years. To me, that's wild, bro. That's taking a chance. That's swinging for the fences. Yes, he had a good season. Um, in the starting role when he took over the starting role wasn't great. Didn't light the world on fire. Wasn't in the highlight reels. He did have 1 week where he was player of the week, defensive player of the week, I do believe. Shout out to my boy Pal Mal. But damn, what's he? 2 years, 3 years? Isn't he still? I mean, I guess he's a free agent, so they didn't have a choice but to sign him. But you have a guy like Trayvon Morig, who's been playing his ass off for this team, making chicken scratch. You have Nate Hobbs, who has been making under $2 million since he's been on the team, and then you go pay Isaiah, pay Pal Mal 4.25 mil a season. Now I don't know if it's all of half up front, half and half. I don't know how that shit works. Maybe they're paying him 2 million this year, backloading the 6 million next year, guaranteed money. We don't know what the contract is yet, or at least I don't. Maybe y'all do. Haven't got that far, but to me, I think it doesn't bode well for Nate Hobbs. You know, he's been here the longest. He's a homegrown talent. He was drafted by the Raiders. He's played for like I said again for chicken shit. In my opinion, he should have got a way better contract years ago. I thought for what he's done for this team, and they just keep overlooking him and keeping him on that young rookie deal. Ray love Raiders. So to me, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look good for Nate Hobbs. If they were going to keep Nate Hobbs, maybe the money, is just right, not right. Maybe he wants too much. Um, but if they were going to keep him, I thought he would be the, priority. But maybe the injuries, I'm sure the injuries have something to do with it. And I think the fact that I think he's a restricted free agent, so I do believe he's on that list where um he can go out, test the market, see what he's worth, and if the Raiders don't want to lose him, they can match, whatever teams are willing to give him. I think maybe that's not why he's signed yet, and you know, I'm having a feeling they're going to do the same with Morig. It might not be the smartest decision, but if you're paying Isaiah Palmau, he can easily play Morig's spot, or he can continue to play where he's at. But we also have Trey Taylor, who's, I was very high on coming out of this draft. The dude tackles like a missile. He wraps up, he breaks up plays. He has good instincts. on the ball. He reads quarterbacks well. Um, so I would love to see Trey Taylor out there and see what he has, especially if we're talking $45 million for 3 years for Trayvon. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I don't see many safeties. I don't see any safeties in the league that had a better year. Maybe one. I mean, two. I don't know. I don't I don't other than that, I don't see. Damn, 2 hours of talking, your voice gets dry. But other than that, man, I just don't see yeah, too many. So what else do we got? Oh, Kuntz, Malcolm Kuntz, there's talks, of his contract being signed. I'll break all that shit down tomorrow when I go live, but I've been on here 2 hours. I appreciate everybody pulling up, showing love. Um, if you would like to become a member to the family, go hit the link or click on my shit. I didn't put a link up. I'm horrible at this. But anyways, you can subscribe, become a member. 3 different tiers, or you can just join the family if you're not already. But hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. If anybody has any questions, any thoughts, um, Ray Love, what's your opinion? Who do we draft at 6? Do we trade back? Do you take a player at 6 if no quarterbacks are there? What would you do if you're still in the building? Make sure I got to all these chats. But yeah, again, I think, these crazy ass talks of Max Crosby to Philadelphia for a second round pick, a second and a fourth next year is just crazy. Talks of trading for Matthew Stafford, I think is just hoopla. I think there's, oh my God, drink gave me the hiccups. I think there's a lot of teams that have a lot of reporters on their list are, of guys they can call to get reports put out there as decoys. It's not duck hunting season, but it feels like it's duck hunting season when the draft rolls around because everybody's got smoke screens. Everybody, has an idea of where teams should go, where players should go, but some of them are just downright ignorant and shocking. Like I don't know how you can't even make this shit up that some of the scenarios people put out is just wild. But I did see one from Mo Moten, I do believe it was, on trading for DeAndre Swift. Now I said this last year I would have traded for DeAndre Swift or signed DeAndre Swift way before Madison. I mean, it wasn't even close. But the man could block. He could give you, catch out of the backfield. It's not a crazy, crazy high price like 9 or 10 million that you were so adamant about not paying Josh Jacobs. I just think I wouldn't be the only Raider fan that would absolutely lose his mind and probably start rioting if you pay $10 or $12 million for a running back this year when you let Josh Jacobs walk last year. It just makes no sense. Thank God for us. It's a very, very high running back class. And of course, the year we're number 6 and we have a chance to get a quarterback. I believe there is no quarterback worth taking at 6. Now, I'm a big, big fan of Jackson Dart. We know this. Riley Leonard, we know this. Um, Kyle McCord is definitely is starting to grow on me, I would take that kid in the second. That there's a lot of quarterbacks I take in the second round. A lot. There's a lot I take in a third round. There's not really one that really stands out that I would take in the first round. Not in the top 10. Now, if you could trade back with the Cowboys to 12 and they're still, all the quarterbacks are gone and you still believe in Jackson Dart, then I'd pull the trigger. That would be a reach, in my opinion. But come on, there's been teams that have reached on way worse quarterback prospects or had guys way higher on their board. Um, I won't say any names because it'd be just disrespectful to those guys, but we all know how that shit works. But man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, spending your time with me. As always, Raiders. Peace and elbow grease. Much love. Um, yeah, join me tomorrow. I think I will be on early in the morning sometime and then later in the evening because I've been neglecting my people and there's so much shit to talk about. And that's why I try to stay on one subject tonight with the AOC thing and the free agency thing. But again, man, we broke down quarterbacks. There's not too many quarterbacks that you could that you could go after in this year's draft. And there's not. I mean, free agency doesn't look good. We looked at Fields, Stidham, Flacco. Another guy I stopped on was Mac Jones. I think you know, Mac Jones had a damn good rookie year. Played pretty good in Dick Daniels' system. I think he fits a Chip Kelly system. He's a mobile quarterback that can throw the ball downfield. Um, has decent accuracy in the right system. It would be good. Um, I heard a lot of people saying that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be a Raider. No, I'm just trying. I'm just trying to see if anybody's still awake and paying attention. uh, Casey Keenum drafted very, very high. Uh, Mason Rudolph didn't play too bad with like not the didn't play bad with the Titans, but who did he play for before that? The Giants or somebody? I don't know, but another mobile guy that could move the ball. Cooper Rush has been a damn good backup for the Cowboys, and in my opinion, I thought he's been the better quarterback at times. Like the team looked pretty damn good with him a bunch of times. Yeah, no on Josh Dobbs. My Arkansas Razorback Brandon Allen. He sat in that Kyle Shanahan system. Kid has a huge, huge arm, but man, I don't know about that. Nick Mullins, no. Talked about Kyle Trask. I think Kyle Trask would be a damn good decision. Like I said, it makes sense. He knows Tom Brady. He knows Spytek. Teddy Bridgewater, no. Jeff Driscoll, no. Brett Rippon, no. Tyler Hudley, no, 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 and no. I mean, the only guys I can see you know that fit what we were talking about or what somebody was talking about earlier with you know going with a cheaper free agent like a Justin Fields that again is 25 years old and still has you know 3 years of upside. But damn, bro, at 25, being in the league for 4 or 5 years, if you haven't learned the NFL by now, it's just not going to come to you. But then again, if you look at Sam Darnold, how many years did it take for it to come to him? Some people just learn slower than others. However, with that being said, um, Bailey Zappi had a damn good, not this year, but last year, I do believe, coming in relief. Another mobile quarterback, has a decent arm. Got to work on those interceptions. Like I don't know. And Daniel Jones, I guess at 27 is the the free agency is not good, bro. The draft is not good for quarterbacks. It's not the year. This is not the year, and that is why I am a firm believer. And I'm gonna stand on my shit. Well, I wouldn't stand on my shit because they would get all over your feet. That would be a fucking mess. But I'm gonna stand on business and say like our best option, 100% reality, is Aiden O'Connell this year, and you know go with him in camp, saying he's the guy, evaluate him this year. Let the whoever we draft, if it's in the third round, the fourth round, second, what doesn't matter. Let him sit for a year. Next year, if you don't think he's the guy, then you know there's a lot better quarterbacks coming out. There's what 6 or 7, I think, that already have first round grades next year. Which I mean, that's next year, and all of that can change. There was 7 or 8 quarterbacks this year that had first round grades, like a Quinn Ewers, like a Carson Beck, like a Jalen Milrow, and all those dudes fell off the wayside. So I'm done talking. I can ramble on all day. I appreciate y'all. D Menace, Ray Love, Ernest, my guy, um, Dax, all y'all in the building. Appreciate it. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace. I don't have an outro. Fuck you talking about?